Welcome to TMZ Live. Harvey Levin here.
Fabian here.
So, how stupid are people on social media is my question. How dumb are they?
The age-old question.
That, well, it never ceases to amaze me. So this time, they are going after Ryan Seacrest because they essentially are saying he gets too much good stuff in his life. It is absurd. This has to do with him getting the Wheel of Fortune.
People are not happy with the fact that he was tapped. And not only just tapped, but tapped so quickly, so efficiently. Just a couple weeks ago, we were first hearing about his name in the mix, and now all of a sudden, he's hired.
And here's the thing. You're hearing about that for the first time a few weeks ago.
Sure.
That doesn't mean Ryan didn't hear about that long before that, which we're going to get into in a minute. Here are some of the dumbass things that are being said.
So we'll read this one. So here's what one person said. They said, it's really nice to see mediocre white men finally gaining a foothold in the TV business. That's a very snarky thing. Ryan Seacrest, really? Wheel couldn't bring itself to do something creative like put Maggie Sajak on the wheel and replace Vanna with a young guy. How do I say, quote, Ryan Seacrest is a perfect fit for Wheel of Fortune, while explaining that it's not a compliment to Seacrest or Wheel.
We should say, Wheel of Fortune, the most successful syndicated show on television.
Yes.
20 million unique viewers every week. It's going into its 41st season. It is a juggernaut on television.
Yeah, legacy show.
No show is bigger in syndication than Wheel of Fortune.
For sure.
Period. It is the best job in Hollywood.
It is. Look, I mean, to Harvey's point about social media being up in arms about everything, perhaps that there's a little bit of that in this, just people getting angry over nothing, but there is some discussion about people saying Ryan Seacrest was tapped and Vanna White was snubbed here, and a lot of people thought she was deserving of maybe even taking over the mantle.
And why is that?
Because she's been there for as long as Pat has essentially been there.
Oh, so it's tenure?
Tenure, and the fact that a woman should have maybe been the new host. I'm just telling you, that's an opinion people have.
And people can have the opinion, but here's the reality. Vanna White makes a lot of money doing what she does. And what she does is not hosting. Hosting is a specific talent, okay? And Vanna has filled in, and she's fine. But being a host day after day, that's not an easy thing to do. And one of the reasons that you see, for example, Steve Harvey's and, and Eubanks and some of the others, and Dick Clark, as a matter of fact, is that there aren't a lot of people who capture the skill set of hosting a show.
And who can do it day in and day out.
Day in and day out.
Right.
Ryan Seacrest is one of those few people who can do it in any format.
Right.
And that is just the reality. So just because Vanna White is on the show, is a huge part of the show, she's not the host of the show.
Or you're saying not even necessarily entitled to be...
Not entitled because it's not her skill set. And that's no shade.
Here's what I also think is going on, though. Ryan Seacrest is taking over an institution. We've seen this before. It's hard for people to adjust to a new host of a show after 41 years. We saw it with Jeopardy and Alex Trebek. We've seen it with The Price is Right and Drew Carey. People were nervous about. He just needs to get in there. He's in even hand. He will be able to take this over and do a great job on Wheel, but initially he's going to get these comments.
Yeah, he's going to get these comments because that's what's going on in social media right now.
Right.
And then there are comments which just blow my mind, comments that, how dare Ryan Seacrest take jobs away from other people? He gets all the jobs.
Yeah.
That's a comment from a loser.
Well,
that is a comment from a loser.
We live in a world of the world's largest peanut gallery. Everyone can have an opinion. The world is just going to chime in, and it's the nature of the beast.
I want to talk about the stupidity of that opinion. That somebody is sitting there saying, I didn't get the job. Ryan gets all the jobs. It sounds like a child.
But I just want to say this. In defense of some of those people, the notion that maybe Ryan Seacrest is sort of saturated the TV hosting market, that's a somewhat valid opinion because he is sort of everywhere all the time.
But here's the thing.
And I'm not saying that he's not deserving. He's obviously talented. He's up to the task. But we see a lot of Ryan Seacrest a lot. That's all I'm saying. And I think that's all people are saying too.
If Ryan Seacrest would fail at this, then you can make the argument he's oversaturated.
Sure.
But if he hasn't failed and Sony's making a good decision, bringing him in because it's going to maintain and maybe even grow the viewership, then screw everybody else. Sony is a business, and they're trying to get the right person. And you say he's saturated. You know who else arguably oversaturated the market?
Who?
Dick Clark. And there was not a problem with Dick Clark. And Ryan Seacrest, honestly, and look, I'm full disclosure, he's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, and we've talked about plenty of people I know, and sometimes they go off course or whatever. It's just a good decision.
Yeah, they wanted to
decision.
button it up in light of the whole Jeopardy debacle and them trying to find a host for that.
Right.
And it's just so ironic to me that it ended up backfiring on Sony. Just regardless of what they ended up doing, they wanted to get it buttoned up and get it all done early, and yet there's backlash regardless.
But here's the thing. I think, and I do not know this. I have no knowledge of this. My gut tells me that Pat Sajak talked to Sony about this months and months ago.
You got to figure they did.
And when they did, my gut tells me, and I don't know, I do not know this, but my gut tells me that before he left the Kelly Ripa show,
had it lined up.
This was in the works.
Yeah.
If not lined up.
Probably.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Anthony, aka Rory, coming to you guys live from the Magic City and Sunshine State of Miami, Florida. And honestly, I don't know why people are so upset. I feel like fortune was on Ryan's side to take the wheel. I think he was a great candidate, the best person, in my opinion, to take over what Pat Sajak was doing. Can't wait to see him on with Vanna White. I'm going to keep tuning in. I feel like this was a great decision. He's great at his job. I'm a Ryan Seacrest fan, so I don't know, but I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we're all Seacrest fans. By the way, speaking of Vanna White, there is actually no real guarantee at this point that she will maybe come back. There's reports that she's not happy with her money, she wants to renegotiate, and allegedly she's lawyering up. That's the word.
And the lawyering up part is ridiculous.
Yeah.
She has a lawyer, a very big law firm in Los Angeles, who she's had for many years.
But apparently not happy with her salary anymore, so we'll see if she ends up staying with Ryan or not.
Well,
we'll follow that.
I just want to say one other thing.
Yeah.
That's what the reports say.
Sure.
Here's the deal. Vanna White probably is in a better bargaining position right now in that Pat's leaving at the same time her contract is up.
She does.
And maybe Sony doesn't want the two of them to leave at the same time.
So you're saying they might have to pay up for her?
On the other hand, the problem Vanna White has in the negotiation is you have to show, if you don't pay me, I will do X.
Right.
What is that X that she would do? That's what you got to think.
Shade at Vanna White. Okay.
Not shade.
That's reality.
It's negotiation.
All right.
That's the question.
This is business.
Okay, we're going to move on to something really sad, and it confirms a lot of things. There have been pieces of this Titan submersible
finally recovered. And not only that, but we're seeing the photos of it, and it just confirms what the authorities have said, which is that this submarine/submersible imploded underwater. It got completely crushed, and you can see that right here. It was pulled out of the water via crane over in Newfoundland just today by crews. You see that they're working on it. You can see pieces of the actual submersible, and it's completely folded in. It's caved in. It's crumpled. And yeah, I mean, these people, they died under those circumstances.
And I think seeing this, I think it makes it just, I mean, it was real, but like when you see it's literally pieces, and you can't make out a lot of the pieces. Like some of the photos you see, it's like some of the black landing gear, but other pieces you can't even figure it out. And I know that they'll use these pieces to kind of figure out what went wrong here. But I mean, if I was a person I was even thinking about doing something like this in the remote future, this would really scare me. The fact that they don't even really know what happened. You just get these pieces from the bottom of the ocean. They were only 1,600 feet away from the Titanic as well, too. So the voyage was like almost complete. And
there are a lot of reports and theories now that the alloys used in constructing that weren't sustainable for going up and down in the depths they did.
Alleged cutting of corners, things like that.
I got to say, one other thing is that, the Coast Guard's taken some heat for what some people think is creating false hope.
And arguably, you could say they did. They certainly, they seem to have done that.
I think you can, because there was some evidence this imploded hours after it lost communication.
Yeah. Right.
So I think seeing that it clearly imploded, seeing that will kind of re-energize this argument that why did the Coast Guard, keep hope alive when it was pretty clear what was going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Artifacts, a.k.a. Romero Russell here in Scottsdale, Arizona. When this story first broke, I was filled with sorrow for all of the people who lost their lives, but especially for the father and son, and for the grandfather to see both his son and his grandson who were lost. But I'll tell you one thing. They found this so quickly to me. So this tells me that they have the technology that can actually go down there and figure this thing out. So I hope this brings some kind of closure for the family. It still touched me because I'm a parent myself. So I hope they can put the pieces together and find out what really happened.
Yeah, I mean, big picture, it's a cautionary tale, and it's a tragedy. I know people are making a lot of jokes about it, et cetera, but like, it is just a sad story.
It's really sad, but also it shouldn't make people shy away from the notion of
exploring.
You have to take risks when you explore. The question is, was this a reasonable risk?
Right.
Okay, we're taking a break. When we come back, Armie Hammer surfaced.
He's got a new lady in his life, apparently. Not so new, though, as it turns out. It's actually an ex of his, but he's in Italy, and he's cuddling up with a new boo, it seems. We'll tell you about that when we come back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Harvey and Fabian here. So Armie Hammer has restarted his life. And the best evidence are the pictures we have of him in Italy with a woman that he has history with, and it looks like they are back together.
Yeah, this woman's name is Lisa. She's a dental hygienist. She was dating Armie, I think dating back to 2021. And she was kind of with him when all this scandal stuff started breaking with him. And she was with him at the time. They broke up for a brief time. Now it seems like they're back together. They're kissing. They're holding hands. They're vacationing together, straight up.
They are in Italy.
Yes.
And what's interesting about this is, look, Armie Hammer, was kind of under the LAPD and DA's microscope here in LA County for almost 2 years, over a rape allegation. Ultimately, they said there wasn't evidence there, and Armie Hammer was cleared. So he is now restarting his life.
And not only that, but this also comes on the heels of him recently settling his divorce with his, I guess, soon-to-be ex-wife. I don't know if the divorce is finalized.
They haven't signed yet, but it's essentially over. So he's restarting his life, and looks happy.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first photos we've had of him in a while, and this is, I mean, we've seen when, celebrities go away after controversies like this, then you start seeing them out on vacation, and then next thing you know, they're getting offered movie roles, because essentially he was clearly into some very weird things, but he didn't do anything criminally wrong. So I don't understand why, a big time production wouldn't offer him a role.
We've talked about this over and over and over, in the 18 years we've done TMZ, which is, and I've said it before, that you can't take a snapshot of somebody, at a really bad moment and say that's going to define them for the rest of their life. And it almost never happens that way, and I don't think it's going to happen that way with Armie Hammer.
But not only that, Harvey, he didn't do anything criminally wrong, at least by LAPD standards. So
the DA made that clear.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I know there's some people still have an opinion on what he was accused of and all the minutia of all that. But to your point, yes, he is trying to get a move on with his life. I'll be very curious to see what the next role he gets is. Because look, you could say Amber Heard, very different situations, very different stories, obviously, but she's sort of in the same boat of like, pariah, you're out. And then look at her, she's in Italy, she's making a movie, she's coming back, it seems.
Guys, it always happens.
It does.
Hi, my name is Sydney from Chicago, and I think Armie Hammer is a very interesting character. He's had an alarming past couple of years. I think that maybe he should find himself a little bit more. I'm also interested in the girl, because it's like with all these allegations that have come forward about him, it's like, what is really gravitating you towards him? And I don't know. And I also wonder what they eat for breakfast in the morning.
I mean, seriously, I mean, here's the deal.
Yeah.
There was one allegation that was investigated, and they said
it didn't amount to anything.
And they cleared him.
And to your point about this woman, look, she was with him back in 2021 when all this stuff was breaking. So she knows something about him that we don't know. She sees something in him. They're happy together. I say let them be.
Okay, we're going to move on. I got to say, I was not only shocked at this, I started doing math in my head, and I said, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
But Chrissy Teigen just had another kid.
A fourth baby.
And John Legend, I should say,
obviously, yes. They just welcomed a fourth child. Obviously, she just recently delivered her third baby. And this is news to everybody. She just broke this online. She explained what happened. She and John, they hired a surrogate. They had this fourth baby via surrogate. And
but hiring the surrogate, the circumstances are really interesting here.
Yeah, so they gave birth to the surrogate gave birth to a baby boy. His name is Ren Alexander Stevens. They had the baby on June 19th, and they said now is the best time to show him the world, to show the world that he is here. However, the stuff that happened with the surrogate, when they tried to do the first embryo transfer, they had a complication, and so then when they were going through the surrogacy process, the IVF, all of the things, she was saying, there was a point when I was going to therapy where I was like, let me try and get pregnant myself again. She knew the complications that she had when she had lost Jack back in in 2020.
Right.
She knew what she was going into, and she said, let's just try it again. And so around the same time that she had gotten pregnant with Esty was when the embryo transfer was successful with their surrogate named Alexandra.
Yeah, with the backdrop of her losing Jack and everything, you're so happy for Chrissy and John, and there's nothing else to say really other than congratulations.
They always wanted 4 kids, and they got them.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think that is so sweet for Chrissy and John. That's just lovely. Another new baby. I'm Ailsa Forshaw in Victoria, BC, Canada. And that just warms my heart to think that they already had gone ahead looking for a surrogacy, and then they got pregnant with IVF. And now they have another little sweet baby, 4 little babies. That's the sweetest.
It's really great.
It's great news for them, obviously. We're super happy.
Okay, on a different home front, one that is not only contentious, it's all out war.
Yeah.
There have been police calls like crazy from the home of Kroy Biermann and Kim Zolciak.
Yep.
And the latest involves an allegation of kidnapping, at least coming from Kim.
It's a little convoluted. So basically, Kim called 911 earlier this month saying, my husband, Kroy, who I'm in the middle of a divorce with, he is threatening to call 911 himself on my friend, and he's claiming that she's trying to kidnap our son, 12-year-old KJ.
This is a woman who basically was caring for one of the kids.
Yeah, she's a friend of Kim's.
Took him to a ball game, and Kroy never wanted this woman around the kids.
Right.
And when he found out that Kim had given the kids
permission
to this woman,
yes,
he said, get these kids back or else I'm calling the cops.
And this woman actually spoke out this morning. She took to her social media, and she's basically saying that Kim in no way misused the 911 system. And in fact, she kind of comes for Kroy and says that Kroy is doing all of this to try to get full custody of the 4 kids that him and Kim share.
But Brendan, my understanding is Kroy never called the police.
Right.
This was just Kim saying, oh, I think my estranged husband is gonna call the police, but he never did it.
Right.
Correct. It was Kim that was the caller to 911. By the way, guy.
Is it possible that both of them overreacted? I mean, Kroy clearly overreacted, but he didn't follow through on the threat. Kim called 911. A lot of people are suggesting that it wasn't an emergency call.
But that's the whole point. That's the way they're living right now. They are living under the same roof at war around their kids. And I got to tell you, this has got to be the most unhealthy environment for these children.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I mean, it is really, really tragic that these kids are collateral damage in this divorce.
And we're probably going to see a lot more of this too.
Okay, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Jason Derulo live here, and he has written a book that is really inspirational. It's about how you handle problems in your life when you are at your lowest point, because he experienced that and he survived. Also, he talks about success in this book, about how he is so successful, what the secrets to his success are. And I got to tell you, there's one point he makes out of 15 that I just love. I can't wait to talk to him. Welcome back to TMZ Live. I am so excited about our next guest, Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo. Sorry, I had to do it. I apologize. Had to do it.
I didn't know it was going to come this quickly.
We have the man himself here with us. So he has just written a book.
It's called Sing Your Name Out Loud.
Yes.
And it is so inspirational. It's about 2 things. It's about how you succeed in life, and when you are hitting rough times, how you crawl out of that hole. So he's really approaching it from both ends.
Right.
It's fascinating, and he has lived this, so he knows how to tell the story. And he's joining us right now. Jason, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hey, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me as usual.
So you are in New York City right now on this book tour, right?
I am. And I don't think that I ever thought that I would be on a book tour. So I'm excited, man.
Look, I've read some of the things about the book. I can't wait to actually read it, because I think it's just fascinating. Why did you write a book? I mean, you're so accomplished in so many other areas, in social media, obviously singing,
right,
and you have businesses. Why a book?
I think it's for those reasons, and I took a look at my life and basically tried to figure out at what points I made those big leaps, because there's times where, you're on kind of like a normal path, and, you're kind of precipitously growing. And then there's times where you make a giant leap. And I was looking at the times I went on those giant leaps and looking at exactly what I was doing during those times. And then I started to apply those same things into business. And then my business has started to thrive. You know, one of my companies is valued at $2 billion now. It's crazy. And then I started to apply it to social media, and I'm pretty sure you've seen how crazy social media has been for me. So I was like, damn, I need to share this with the world. I need to share this with other dreamers, you know, because I think there's a lot of people that are abandoning their dreams for, you know, what their parents are telling them that they should do, or, you know, going to grad school, and just kind of totally abandoning what they feel like their passion is, their reason for living is. And there's a lot of you know, older dreamers that think it's too late. So I was like, I gotta write this down. And that is the reason why I decided to write a book.
Jason, can I ask you about the title, Sing Your Name Out Loud? To me, it seems like a no-brainer and like it's obvious. You obviously sing your name out loud. You're famous for that. But can you talk about the meaning behind it? Is it sort of like a self-manifestation sort of thing?
Exactly. Yeah. So with the title, obviously everybody knows me for that. But manifestation is the beginning of what I talk about within the book, you know. So it's way deeper than just manifestation. It's actually saying it so much that you start to believe it. You have 1 trillion cells in your body, and your cells listen to what you're saying, you know, and it believes it. So if you're saying I can't, you will not, you know. And if you start that I will be the greatest one day, your body will start to listen, and you'll start to take the steps that it takes to actually achieve those goals.
You have 15 points to success that you talk about in the book. And one of them, Jason, I got to tell you, I think it's so important for people to understand this, which is you have to risk failure to succeed. Talk about it, because I think that is one of the key elements of success.
I have taken so many risks within my life, and the majority of the risks that I've taken have ended badly. And that's okay, because nobody remembers the fails,
right?
You know, and you know, I can relate it to social media as well. You know, if you're posting one time per week, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, you are your brand. You know, if you're posting one time a week, you're not doing yourself a service.
You're obviously obsessed with your craft. Speaking of your craft, music being one of them, from what I understand, you just dropped a song, Glad You Came. And I'm curious, was the timing of that supposed to be a companion piece to the book? Is there any significance with the song in the book? Or is it just a standalone song that people can just kind of enjoy?
That looks so good, by the way.
It does, it does.
It really does.
Yeah, where'd you film that? Where were you filming that, by the way?
I filmed that in Bali.
Wow.
And in Bali, it's the most incredible backdrop you can ever ask for. It's such an incredible place, man. But yeah, so it will be a part of a larger body of work that comes in October. I'm doing something really different, where I'm doing an audio movie coupled with the album, and it's going and coming in October, man. So really, really excited about that.
So look, I'm so thrilled to have you on, and I got to tell you something, just personally, Jason. Want to Want Me, that song, I love it, but I especially love the version you did with Luke Bryan. I've listened to that 100 times, and it's just so fun to watch. And I don't know, that for some reason, I just keep going back to that one, because you guys look like you're having so much fun.
Is this your favorite Jason Derulo song?
I just love the two of them together. That must have been a blast to do.
Thank you. Nah, it really was, man. And Luke became a great friend after that, man. So that was the beginning to a great friendship. And I gotta send you guys some waters, man. I have this company called Trio that is just flying, man.
Oh my gosh.
The charts.
Ever the businessman. Sing Your Name Out Loud.
15 rules for living your dream. The book's out now. Jason, man of many talents, thank you for joining us, dude. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys.
Thanks, Jason. He's great.
He is.
You got to listen, by the way. You got to go to YouTube and listen to the song.
I do.
It's just so fun. It is just so fun.
I love Jason Derulo, so I will definitely do that.
Okay, we are going to take a break. When we come back, Roseanne embroiled in a new controversy. This one involving the Holocaust, where she talks about it, and people on social media are going crazy.
Yeah, but they're really being unfair to her. If you hear her full remarks, you'll understand the full context, and we'll show you that when we come back. Welcome back to TMZ Live. Roseanne Barr, back in the news for all the wrong reasons. There's a new controversy with her, and this one involves comments that she made about the Holocaust. Now, it's sort of up for interpretation as to what exactly she said and, more importantly, what exactly she meant. We'll play the clip and then we'll talk about it right after.
I'm glad that they did set up all these guidelines so that we only are allowed to speak the truth. And the truth is that Biden got 81 million votes by winning 36 counties. They mandated that that was the truth and that nobody could say, well, what about no? That's the truth. And don't you dare say anything against it or you'll be off YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other ones, because we have, you know, there's such a thing as the truth and facts, and we have to stick to it. And, you know.
It's scary.
And that is the truth. And nobody died in the Holocaust either.
No.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
It should happen. 6 million Jews should die right now because they cause all the problems in the world, but it never happened. But it never happened.
Yeah.
Mandated.
Well, because you're part Jewish, right? Part of your family's Jewish?
I'm all Jewish.
You're all Jewish.
So there's Roseanne on comedian Theo Von's podcast. A lot of people isolated that one section where she's talking about the Holocaust. They published that one clip, and people were killing her, saying, oh my gosh, how dare you be a Holocaust denier, et cetera, et cetera. In the full context of the clip, as far as how I interpret that, what I think she's saying is, I'm happy that social media companies are now mandating the truth, including the fact that the election was not rigged. And I think in that Holocaust section, she's sort of like mimicking or sort of like mocking people who are trying to put out the notion that the Holocaust didn't exist. That's how I interpret this. She's saying, well, that's the truth.
Hold on. I hear the way you're interpreting it, and you may be right that she's trying to say that. I've listened to it twice. I can't figure out what the heck she's saying. I mean, I think she's struggling to say maybe what you're saying. I don't think she's saying that she's a Holocaust denier, but I have to tell you, listening to that, it's so jumbled that I don't think anybody can fairly say this is exactly what Roseanne Barr is saying.
So what Fabian described is exactly what her son said. I spoke with him yesterday. Her son and Roseanne, they both co-host a podcast with one another, and it was exactly the way Fabian laid it out. The part of him, the part of Roseanne talking about the election, she's being genuine, and then she goes into the Holocaust denying. That's her being sarcastic, saying that people just believe anything that they hear online. What's interesting, though, is the president or the CEO of the ADL has spoken out about this, saying that even if Roseanne was joking, it doesn't matter. It wasn't funny at all. It was actually disgusting. And he also condemned Theo Von for letting her make the joke and not speaking up about it.
That may be what her son is saying, and that may well be what Roseanne Barr meant. But it is such a jumbled conversation. It really is hard to understand.
It did not come out clear at all, that's for sure.
But I don't think she's saying she's a Holocaust denier.
And she's a Jewish woman, for crying out loud. She acknowledges she's Jewish.
I also get why the ADL might be upset about it. Because
by the way, Theo Von defended her. He said that she was being sarcastic. He felt it was clear. In my mind, it's a little clear to me, too.
A little flip.
Hey, this is Victor from Bowie, Maryland. This was kind of confusing and not funny at all. I mean, she really did not do well on this. Maybe she meant well, but I don't think it turned out too well.
I think the word meant is what's important. I'm not sure what she meant. But I'm
going to give her the benefit of the doubt on this one. I think
she's not a Holocaust denier.
No, she's not a Holocaust denier, for crying out loud.
It was jumbled.
Yes.
Okay, this fight that we have been talking about between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, I am telling you, I am now at a point, and we have been leading on this story, I am telling you, I will gladly wager fair amount of money
that it happens?
That this is going to happen.
Okay.
I think this is going to happen. There are a couple of stumbling blocks from what we're hearing. And, you know, the biggest one is Elon Musk weighs 100 pounds more than Mark Zuckerberg.
And he's like another foot taller than him, too.
And that's an issue.
Yeah.
But this fight, these guys want to fight. I know that for a fact. They want to do this. They want to basically have what will amount to the biggest fight in the history of the world. And I think Dana White is going to make this thing happen.
Yeah, Harvey, from everything we're hearing, that is where all signs are pointing. And I think there's even more evidence now, courtesy of this guy named Lex Friedman. So Lex Friedman is this popular podcaster, but he is also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Well, he goes on social media, and he actually revealed that on Monday, both Lex and Elon Musk had an impromptu training session. You see Elon there. He has Lex's arm. He looks like he's trying to get him in some sort of arm bar. And they actually trained together, and Lex said that he was very impressed with Elon's, with his strength and just his overall technique on the mat. So I know a lot of people believe that Mark Zuckerberg actually has the advantage because of his training past, when in reality, Elon Musk has some training too, and he's got some ability.
Whether Elon is really good right now or rusty, it doesn't matter, because what he's telegraphing is, I'm in.
Right.
And that's the point right now.
Right.
It's not how good is he right
or
now.
who loses, or it doesn't even matter. The fact is the fact that the fight might actually happen.
If this happens, my guess is it's going to be December. They're going to have 6 months to train. Who cares whether he's good or bad right now? He is showing that he's in the game.
Harv, I'm interested in your take on this. Do you believe there actually is a lot at stake? Because some people have made the point, whoever loses, that their company could actually take a big hit.
We talked about that yesterday.
How dumb.
And Harvey's point is, neither one of these guys are even thinking about that.
Yeah.
All I can say is place your bets. My money's on Mark. That's all I got to say.
I'm going Elon Musk. Elon Musk for the win.
Oh, okay.
Elon Musk for the win.
And honestly, I don't know. I could see either one of them winning, honestly.
Hey, what's going on? DJ Shane, St. Pete, Florida. Harvey, I can't agree with you anymore. I'm telling you, this fight is going to be the fight of the year. My point is, I believe Elon's going to win. He's a bigger guy. He has strength. He has the power. Zuckerberg, he's too stiff. If you watch his videos, he's too stiff. It's like he's choreographing what he's going to do.
Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back, Tom Hanks' niece, wow, she made reality TV
made a big
so
splash.
real.
Oh my God.
So real. She has a meltdown, the likes of which, as Donald Trump would say, you have never seen. And we're going to show you.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. On Monday night, ABC aired a reality show, Claim to Fame. Kind of an interesting premise. It's basically where you try to guess who this contestant is related to in terms of Hollywood. So the contestants are relatives of famous people. They have a bunch of people in the house. And then, it's like you eliminate somebody, and if you guess wrong, you get eliminated. Well, on Monday night, somebody got eliminated, and it made a big scene afterward, or I guess she made a big scene afterward. Her name is Carly Reeves. She is the niece of Rita Wilson, obviously also the niece of Tom Hanks, and she was sort of found out. She was found out, and she was eliminated, and her reaction to that kind of made some news. We'll show you that right now. Take a look.
Damn. These freaking colors are so freaking obvious. Freaking bench. That's a freaking poster of freaking Forrest Gump. Are you kidding me? She's screaming. She's screaming. She's screaming. She's screaming. Why a bench? Why a bench? There's literally no reference to benches on any other movie. Even Gabriel found that out. He's not even smart.
For real? That's cold. Damn.
I didn't even get to do any challenges. I don't deserve this. I should have more camera time. I should be here longer.
Okay, so without further ado, let's bring in Carly herself. Carly, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thank you.
So I got to say, Carly, you are a producer's dream. You really are. I mean, what happened was, I'm sure the producers were just going nuts as they were watching it. You felt you were done dirty by the game.
You felt the clues were too obvious. There was a bench and a paddle, and you felt like that was a dead giveaway that you were the niece of Tom Hanks, and that they essentially screwed you over. And from what I understand, your reaction here is raw and unfiltered, and it wasn't faked at all. Is that right?
Oh my God, totally real. It's funny that people are trying to say I was acting to get an acting role, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I was very upset.
Yeah.
And I don't hold back when I'm upset. I noticed that producers weren't coming up to me right away. They were letting me have my meltdown.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, they might probably air this. But yeah, I have producer friends also, and they're like, oh yeah, that was reality TV porn for us.
Oh. So. Yeah, exactly. I'm just wondering how you're kind of processing all of this right now, that they're using this really to sell the show. I mean, I'll watch the show after watching you. So I'm just wondering, you've taken a lot of heat on social media. People are getting a big laugh out of it. How are you taking it?
Yeah, at first I was when I saw the episode, I actually laughed. I thought it was funny because it's so me. It's so classic me. Even Tom and Rita will say, yes, we know that she's like this. Like, they will say that she has her meltdowns and she can be dramatic. Like, so it's probably not a shock to me or my family, but I was just a little bit, obviously, I'm not used to the attention. So I was a little caught off guard by some of the, hate comments and the DMs I'm getting and all that stuff.
What do you say to people that say, like, this really kind of brought out, like, sort of an ugly moment? Do you pay any mind to that at all?
Yeah, obviously it's not like a good look because everyone adores Tom so much, so they don't want, to like have this bad image connected to him. But and the only reason why I don't regret it is because it was real, and I can't regret anything that is obviously my feelings. But obviously, some of the things I said wasn't like the truth. I mean, Gabriel, I love Gabriel. I think he's an amazing contestant and he's hilarious. I was just trying to come up with anything and anyone to blame.
Emotions were running high.
So what did Tom and Rita say about
what was their reaction to it? I'm curious.
But by being on the show, they were happy for me. They wanted me to. They know I love reality TV, so they thought, have fun, get best of luck.
What was their reaction when they saw what you did?
Yeah, so then I texted him and I said, so did you watch the episode? And then I got the flavor. And he basically said that, it's all good. He said, I hope this is like, I hope you get what you wanted out of this, I guess, but he's totally fine with it. Like he's not worried that it's going to obviously diminish his,
reputation. So finally, look, you are amazing. And I would think that reality shows might be knocking at your door right now, that, the Housewives or God knows what else.
I'm
future, just wondering, have you gotten any overtures?
Gigs, any future
anybody
from
call this week?
Oh my God. Well, I hope I can get a role as a scream queen on like a horror film or something. But yeah, I love Housewives. I love all reality shows. I actually worked at SUR and I was like almost on Vanderpump Rules. So like, I love reality TV and I think I'd be good at it. I've always said that because I am like completely a drama queen.
The door's open, I guess.
Raquel has not signed, as far as we know, on Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, there's an opening.
So there might be an opening.
Yeah.
I know, right? I just have to one of those guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully this helps. We really appreciate the time. You're great. We love your raw honesty. Thank you.
Thanks, Carly.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
The Hanks family as a household, as an extended family, they keep it real. Whether you like it or not, they keep it real, which I appreciate.
You know what? We're so out of time, but I got to tell this story. A long time ago, I was at a restaurant. Tom Hanks walks in, and he sees me, and he doesn't say anything, and all of a sudden he walks up with his phone and he says, "What are you eating? What are you doing?
Stop."
And it's like, who are you with?
Stop.
And he did this whole thing, and it was actually hysterical.
That's so funny.
It was really funny. Okay, and he said, "How can you afford this?"
I know, right? We're gonna take a break, but when we come back, Taylor Swift and the John Mayer saga is not done yet. She asked her fans to lay off, and guess what they did? The exact opposite. We will get into more of that.
And whose fault is that?
Oh my God, that's a whole conversation. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Taylor Swift unleashed the hounds a while back, many years back, on John Mayer with her song Dear John. And she tried to kind of take it back in a concert over the last few days, saying, I'm going to sing it, and I'm going to re-release this song, re-release it on my new album, but don't go after John Mayer.
Right.
Well,
she was pleading with them, and they did the exact opposite. We did our research, and as it turns out, the Swifties are in attack mode. They're attacking John Mayer, not just on Twitter, but they're actually, I guess, going on his actual social media page, flooding his comments with a ton of hateful messages.
Yeah, so some of these comments are pretty brutal. One of the main ones that I saw that was really bad was people are wishing that he was on the submersible.
Oh my god.
So they're saying, obviously they wish he was dead. He's getting death threats. And by the way, this is nothing new to John Mayer.
Wow.
But he did criticize this song. This is all over her song called Dear John, which is an old song, but the reason why this is resurfacing is because she has, she's been re-recording her masters, and this one, the album that has this song on it, is coming out again. People have like rediscovered their hate for John Mayer, so I guess no matter what, he's gonna get hate, but yeah.
Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. I think it's definitely reverse psychology on the part of Taylor Swift.
Right.
You know, leave John Mayer alone equals pile it on even more.
Yeah, you may be right.
She's serious, right? Maybe Taylor doesn't perform Dear John in the pouring rain to give her fans even deeper feels. Cut the song out of the Eras Tour entirely, or change the lyrics to Dear Joe.
That's a great suggestion,
no.
actually.
If you do that, then what do you do with the Jake Gyllenhaal song and all the other songs?
Right.
It's like you're almost taking her whole repertoire and slicing it.
I just think there's extra hate at John Mayer because he's seen as like a womanizer. He's dated a ton of people. People don't like that about him.
I don't know that Jake Gyllenhaal hasn't gotten the same treatment, honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, what else do you guys want to talk about?
Hi, this is Addison from Galveston County, Texas. So, Ryan Seacrest being the new host for Wheel of Fortune, I think of all the new hosts that we get. We see all these people on TV just finding new positions in their life, and I just can't help but feel nostalgic. I'm really happy for Ryan Seacrest.
If you're nostalgic for game shows, you're going to get your fix because Wheel of Fortune is going on and Seacrest is in, like it or not.
One more.
Hey everybody, it's John Roots from Phoenix, Arizona, talking about the Titan submarine. So you know that imploded, and it's sad to see people perish, but maybe the CEO should maybe worry about hiring experts instead of inspirational 25 to 30-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, look, they took a risk here. The question, is it an unreasonable one? And that's to be determined. We're taking a break. When we come back, there were two people at Beyonce's concert last night who are deeply in love. They are two very famous people. And I got to tell you, they're young, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, namely the guy, puts a ring on it.
Yeah. Welcome back to TMZ Live. Everybody's favorite it couple right now in Hollywood, Tom Holland and Zendaya. They're keeping the love going. They were in Poland at a Beyonce concert, kind of mixing and blending into the crowd in the background there, and they were singing to each other's faces, and you can just tell how in love they are. Take a look at this video. It's awesome.
This is real. I mean, you can tell they're not in the front, they're in the back. They're just having fun with each other.
And it also goes to show, I know a lot of people feel like Tom Holland is not necessarily worthy of Zendaya, but she is head over heels for this guy. And, you know, if he makes her happy, good for them. And they're just,
Wait.
I don't want to get into it.
It doesn't matter if you're at the same stature, as another celebrity.
We will get, okay.
If you love each other, enough.
Conversation for another day. We'll see you next time.
See you tomorrow.